Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another, yeah, just like it says on the title, another Marianne Williamson video. And trust me, the more she tries to put herself on the spotlight and keep doing out these dumb articles like what she did just fairly recently. She posted one up just hours ago. The more she keeps doing this, the more I'm going to call her out because it's just way too hilarious. Plus, Marianne, I know you watch my videos, even though I'm niche. I can't wait until this stuff happens. When you just like berate my comment section again. So she comes out with another Newsweek opinion titled "America's Karma." Okay, first of all, if you don't know what karma is if you've done something wrong and you basically you get what you give, sort of thing, Bob. You do harm is going to be done to you. Maybe not immediately. It's not exactly like retaliation. But it's going to be more so something that develops over time. All right, and so let's delve right into this. The link to this article will be in the description. I've spent most of my professional life counseling people in despair. Due to the work I do, people don't usually come to me because things are going well. Well, it can be that, but it can also be that you just flat out, I'm just gonna say that you just suck at your job, or just you give out some of the most pathetic advice ever. I've seen what you posted up on Twitter before you blocked me. Oh my god. Because of these experiences and having lived my own life, of course, I know the emotional terrain of desperational fairly well. Do you really, Marianne? Do you seriously know that? Correct me if I'm wrong, seriously. But I don't think you do nearly to the extent, because you're an opportunistic hag who just freaking just gone to spirituality because you're just like opportunistic and just profit off of it. You're a millionaires. You worked for Oprah. You've done so many. You work with the Hollywood elites. How do you know what it's like? Such ground is no longer shocking to me. It has very strange familiarity. So, God. Wow. That is just a bunch of word soup. Since groups of people are simply a collection of individuals, the same psychological principles apply to a collective as to one person. You're saying one person is the same thing as a group, or the psychological principles apply to that one person. The desperate group in question is now is the people of the United States. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because this is utter freaking projection. Pardon my French here. I'm gonna curse here, but do you know what? Marianne Williamson, no one gives a shit about you. No one cares. No one cares, bitch. No one cares about who you are. Your days are gone. They're numbered. You're not numbered, but they're no one cares anymore. And you're just going on here just for relevancy again. But do you know what? Those days and times are just gone. You're the desperate one. To put it simply, America is having a nervous breakdown, a spiritual crisis, a complete disassembling of personality, after which more of authentic self might emerge. As if you know what it's like to be authentic. You don't. You're a phony. You're a fraud. As I stated before, and so many times, you portray yourself to be a spiritual healer and someone who tries to unite people, yet you use some of the most divisive language. You're a student posing as a teacher. If you want to do it in a spiritual world and more of a therapy person, you are I can't say enough, you're a student trying to portray themselves as a teacher. It's like a first grader passing first grade and thinking that's all there is to life, and they become a first grade teacher. They don't know this. They don't know the process of dealing with parents. They don't know the process of dealing with students. They don't know the process of entirely grading. They don't know any of the semantics. They don't know anything of what the efforts that you have to go through as a teacher. They just know how to do what 1 + 1 is, what freaking how to spell the word cat and dog, 3-4 letter words. That's what first graders know how to do, and that's what you think, since you passed one level of whatever it is. Since you just got like the bare minimum outline, you think that that's all there is to it. That's called a simpleton. Yet for that transformation to occur as a nation, we're going to have to do the work at any individual must do to turn such a crisis into an opportunity. It won't be easy, and oh my God, Marianne. It won't be easy, and there will be truths we'll try our best to avoid. Oh. There will be truths that we'll do our best to avoid. I think that's happening already. Once again, you called QAnon a dark psychic force, and there have been magazines saying that it's a conspiracy theorist and none of this stuff is real. None of the human trafficking stuff is real. None of none of the torture. No, there's no such thing as the Hollywood elites. There's no such thing as any of this. There's no such thing as kids being kidnapped, raped, and tortured by the people that you're associated with. Yeah. Do you know what? You avoid so many truths, Marianne. You're not a truth seeker. You're a truth avoider. And you have to put aside real truths, because once again, the truth, especially when it comes to the people that you deal with, it's one of the most painful things to it's one of the most painful and dark and evil areas, and it's a tough pill to swallow. So right now, all you're doing with this article thus far is just flat out deflection. Deflection and projection. And plus, let me ask you this. Who are you to say and guide anybody this when you yourself don't follow these rules? You can't lecture people something that you don't follow. Well, I guess you can, but that would make you one of the biggest hypocrites ever. We know that again. I don't like being political here, but that's what a lot of politicians and especially the left is. The left is very good at that. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's what you're trying to do here. Yet this transformation, we're going to have to do the work. Okay, I read that. It won't be easy. Alright, I passed that. We're going to rail against our misfortune and blame of other people's suffering. What are you talking about? We're going to rail against our misfortune and blame for other people's suffering. Are you talking about these social matters, the BLM matters, and you people saying we don't want to feel this stupid elitist white guilt? Because basically, white guilt is technically racism. White guilt is like saying, do you know what? You can't do this because you're this skin color. You're the minority. Let us do this. Let me tell you this. It's the most racist stuff and the most oppressive stuff to ever deal with. Then, it's being projected and advertised as the polar opposite. If you were a spiritual advisor, Marianne, you would be able to know how to play 4D chess and 5D, let alone I would actually say 5D chess. You would know all of these, you would know what ultimately is going on. And you would try to warn people this and not hide nor project or advertise the mainstream narrative. Like, none of this, what you're saying, ultimately, these are just like CNN talking and MSNBC talking points. Just rehashed in a more guru wannabe, spiritual guru wannabe grammar. We're going to have to look in the mirror. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, woman. That is the absolute thing that you don't do. When are you going to look in the mirror? That's what I want to know. When are you going to follow your own footsteps? When are you going to follow your own advice? To quote James Bond in Casino Royale, whoever wrote this line is a genius because it's so true. But it's at this scene after Bond wins the game and he's on a one-on-one dinner thing with Vesper, and she says, just because you do something doesn't mean that you need to keep doing it. And he responds with, "Why is it people who can't take advice always insist on giving it?" That is exactly what I'm asking you, Marianne. Why is it that you're giving it advice, why is it you insist on giving advice, but you're not taking it? Why can't you take advice, but you're okay with giving people advice? You want to know why? Because you're a narcissistic, I don't want to say the word. We're going to have to take full responsibility for the thoughts and actions that led us here. Then and only then will we be on the path to recovery. All right. In order to recover, I'm going to teach the audience this, something that you're not doing here, Marianne. Because thus far, you're just flat out fear-mongering and thus far shaming people. In order to recover somebody, to recover from something, anything, you have to do two things. Acknowledgement of your actions, and most importantly, forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgive thyself. Forgive others. Right now, Marianne, you're teaching the opposite of that. You're saying, don't take responsibility for your actions. Don't forgive yourself. Don't look in the mirror and say, am I contributing to the problem? Because a lot of people who are causing havoc, they think that they're the good guys. But, like these social movements, but actions speak louder than words. They think that they're the good guys, but the world sees them otherwise based off of their actions. They're the bad guys. Just like how I see you here. You're portraying yourself as a very good spiritual leader, but you're portraying yourself to be a student. To the ones who are more spiritually inclined and actually know what they're doing. We pay a very high... The price is that then we won't be able to change it. You change it by changing yourself. This is what I always say to people. The world doesn't revolve around you. You revolve around the world. So what do I mean by that? You follow what the world, you conform to the norms of the world, so that way because you help the world function, right? Everybody is a cell. We need functioning cells, and we need healthy cells to have a properly functioning country, or to have a functioning body. And so as a result, we're like atoms here. Every person and plant is like an atom. We need functioning atoms, functional and healthy atoms, positive atoms, to conform a positive and healthy cell. We need positive and healthy cells to create positive and healthy organs, and we need positive healthy organs to create healthy and fully functional, smooth and happy bodies. But do you know what? You're not saying that here. You're saying, oh, well, we need to change this, we need to change that. Very much like the Bernie Sanders of the world. Very much these socialists. We need to do this, we need to do that, while simultaneously they are not doing it. The world change starts with you. I'm a freaking whatever. I don't want to say what I am, because I don't like propping myself up. Only when we look at ourselves with brutal honesty do we begin to approach the level of self-awareness without which There is no escaping the consequences of our mistakes. Projection much? Are you just starting to rehash? Because I know you're Gens K in my comments section. Are you now, did I give you, and not to toot my own horn, but did you actually learn something from a little lecture that I gave you in the comments section, Marianne? Maybe you just keep telling me that in the world that you're just another student. America has been blessed with the most extraordinary resources, talent, prosperity, and power. Now you're sounding a lot like your enemy here. You're all over the place. Yet over the past 40 years, as a nation, we stopped even trying to be good, to be just, to be ethical, to be merciful. You can think the blue party for that, and they've been behind that kind of stuff for years and years to come, for years and years prior to what's been going on. You grew up with this, Marianne, and you of all people should say, hey, do you know what? I lived through this as a girl. When I was younger, this is what was going on in this country. Why is this going on again? And instead of asking yourself why this is still going on again, you're just rehashing the narrative, and you're not trying to help. You're not helping. This is just like some awareness hogwash. Do nothing. It's just word soup, and it's just you to try to keep your relevance and attention. I think this is an article to try to make up. If it's not making up or justifying, if it's not to make up or just realize you're or fix wrong, you're right, you're wrong. That's what I meant to say. And it's not gaslighting. I think this is a gaslighting article. We're unprepared for this moment because we need nothing to avoid, because we did nothing to avoid it. How condescending is that? Everybody, so many people the people that you are fighting against and speaking against, Marianne. People like me, people like the people that you challenge, and the people that you say are dark psychic forces. Believe it or not, those are the ones who are trying to make a legitimate change. But you have to challenge the status quo for that. You have to challenge the mainstream. You can't be a follower. You have to push and shove the boundaries. You have to go for the things that are good and are not massively promoted. And that's what you're trying to say here, but you're not following those footsteps. Why aren't you trying to say, hey, do you know what? It's time for us to try to gather and let's start let's start another hippie movement. Let's try to say we're all the same at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're all humans. And that's what matters. But nope, you're saying, once again, it's this finger-pointing BS. Oh, God. As a nation, we have slithered like snakes across the floor. And we are surprised. And we are surprised now that various crises among us. What should surprise us is that this didn't happen sooner. That just the face of a fascistic could have belonged to anyone. So the consequences of a spiritual A fascistic girl! Who's the one who's censoring people? Who's the one who's calling for censorship? Who is the one who's calling for the double standards? Who are the ones who are saying, rules for thee but not for me? Those are people on your side, girl. Who are we scared of? Antifa. The most ironic name ever. BLM. Who are we kowtowing towards? Who are people scared to? What party thus far is saying, if you speak out against us, we're taking your rights away? It ain't from the president. If anything, he's saying, I want you to have these rights. Who's saying, who are being the contrarians in this world and saying those rights need to be taken because we don't like this person. We want to be contrarians. That's your side, girl. The blue party. That's the side that you ran on. You are guilty of all of this. And you're encouraging this and fanning the flames of legit fascism. You are trying to say we live in fascistic times. But who are the ones who are saying, do you know what? Don't stay in quarantine. Yeah, take repercussions, but we need the economy back. We need people to be back back in school, which they are, but they can't learn from their classrooms. They're all in freaking Zoom meetings. Let me ask you this, Marianne. If we have a fascistic leader, let me tell you this. He's not the one who's saying that we need to put everybody in a closed box so that way we can make sure that people can get mail-in voting so that way we can tamper with all of that. You want to know who are the real fascists? Once again, they're the ones that you're defending. The anti-fascists are saying, screw these rules, we want to go outside. I want to go out on the beach. I want to go out on I'm not wearing a mask. Those are the anti-fascists. The fascist ones tell you should wear a mask regardless, or else we are going to penalize you. We're gonna fine you. We're gonna arrest you for not going through these stupid, bogus rules. When there's already a treatment, hydroxychloroquine. But your side is saying, oh no, fake news. That there's no true, fake news. There's no cure yet. There's no cure yet because the millionaire and the billionaire elites want to figure out ways to chip us and track us and basically have like marks in us. Marks and making sure that people are within certain borders. They can't go out, and must they go out, then they get penalized or punished by their troops. Kind of sounds like fascism to me. It kind of reminds me of an occurrence that happened in the 40s that starts with an H. The name escapes me, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, America is down on its knees this time, but that's not bad news. It's good news. that ultimately that's ultimately where things end, but things begin again. This is just word soup. It's where we can find grace and humility, forgiveness and love. As if you know what that's like. Marianne Williamson, you're one of the most cocky people out there. You're one of the most arrogant people in existence. I kid you not. As if you know what to be humble and to ask for forgiveness and to do. Once again, you're not taking your own advice, girl. I'm not and because you don't take your advice, it's where we can find grace and humility. You are not humble. You do not present humility. You do not present grace whatsoever. This is a gaslighting article. You don't mean anything that you say. And I know that you're not serious. Because you're not practicing what you preach. We are good and decent people, but we fail to take responsibility for some things that we've... Okay, now you're shaming people. This is a projection article. This whole article, Marianne, this whole freaking article, this whole thing, this is you. This is you, girl. You're projecting yourself to us. Everything that you're saying that we need to practice in humility and all this stuff, that's you. Once again, why is it those people who can't take advice always insist on giving it? Swallow thy pride. Marianne Williamson, this is what you need to do. In order for that stuff, and because you're a very influential person, this is what you need to do. Swallow thy pride. You should ask for forgiveness. You should ask, is what I'm doing right for this? Am I on the right side of the fence? Or am I defending the evil force when I think that I'm defending the light? Am I promoting darkness when I'm trying to promote light? In all honesty, Marianne, I think you're shining light on darkness. Or shining darkness on light. Or dimming darkness on light. You're blind. All that stuff starts with thyself, Marianne. You need to work on yourself. Keep working on yourself, and then once you start being a lot more humble than this, and you say that this over here, oh, I'm a Newsweek columnist, best-selling author, spiritual thought leader. No, you're not. You're not a spiritual thought leader. You're a spiritual follower. You're an opportunist. Marianne Williamson is a Newsweek call. This summary should be: Marianne Williamson is a narcissistic opportunist. A passive-aggressive, narcissistic child opportunist. That's what you are. And you've done nothing to say otherwise, girl. Alright. I'll see you all next time.